What is your path to Dharma?
All right. Welcome back to the Path of Dharma podcast. Shannon here reading the Srimad Bhagavatam. Yeah, let's do it.
Path to Dharma. Welcome, dear friends. We are in the fourth canto, Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter 25. We've been reading this for months now.
Yeah.
We're doing it, Shay. We are learning
Mm-hmm.
so much. Okay, so where we are is chapter 25. And of course, the great sage Maitreya has been speaking to Vidura, who's been asking him question after question after question.
Yes.
Like I said, I aspire to come up with questions like Vidura.
Yeah.
So
So good.
here he continues the
Hmm.
story because he's telling the story back several layers deep of King Parikshit sitting on the edge of the river getting ready to give up the body. This is where this
Yes.
thing starts. Okay, here we are,
Mm-hmm.
chapter 25, the descriptions of the characteristics of King Puranjana.
All right.
Text,
Before we begin, before
yes,
we
before we
begin,
begin.
before we recite the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is our very means of conquest, one must first offer respectful obeisances unto the personality of Godhead Narayan, unto Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. By regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam, and by rendering service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed. And loving service unto the personality of Godhead is established with as an irrevocable fact.
Let's go, Hare Krishna. Chapter 25, Srimad Bhagavatam, text 1. The great sage Maitreya continued, speaking to Vidura. My dear Vidura, in this way Lord Shiva instructed the sons of King Parikshit. The sons of the king also worshipped Lord Shiva with great devotion and respect. Finally, Lord Shiva became invisible to the princes. That's right, because
Okay, I remember.
we just
Hmm.
had a whole thing where Shiva came and did a prayer and it was amazing. Okay, text 2. Go ahead.
Yeah, yeah. Text two. All the Prasheta princes simply, all the all the Pracheta princes simply stood in the water for 10,000 years, simply, and recited the prayers given to them by Lord Shiva.
Wow. Just when you think, like, I prayed for 10 whole minutes today. While the princes were undergoing severe
Right,
austerities in the
right.
water, while the princes were undergoing severe austerities in the water, their father was performing different types of fruitive activities. At this time, the great Saint Narada, master and teacher of all spiritual life, became very compassionate upon the king and decided to instruct him about spiritual life. I love when Narada shows up.
Hmm. Mm-hmm. Narada Muni asked King Prachinabarasat, my dear king, what do you desire to achieve by performing these fruitive activities? The chief aim of life is to get rid of all miseries and enjoy happiness, but these two things cannot be realized by fruitive activity.
The king replied,
Amen.
yeah. Oh, great soul Narada, my intelligence is entangled in furtive activities. Therefore, I do not know the ultimate goal of life. Holy
Mm,
cow. Here we go. Kindly instruct me in pure knowledge so that I can get out of the entanglement of fruitive activities. Amen.
yeah, yeah.
Let's go, Narada.
Those who are interested only in a so-called beautiful life, namely remaining as a householder entangled by sons and a wife and searching after wealth, think that such things are life's ultimate goal. Such people simply wander in different types of bodies throughout this material existence without finding out the ultimate goal of life.
Mm. Oh, the great saint Narada said, O ruler of the citizens, my dear king, please see in the sky those animals which you have sacrificed without compassion and without mercy in the sacrificial arena.
All these animals are awaiting your death so that they can avenge the injuries you have inflicted upon them. After you die, they will angrily pierce your body with iron horns.
Yikes. In this connection, I wish to narrate an old history connected with the character of a king called Puranjana. Please try to hear me with great attention.
All right, let's do it.
Okay.
My dear king, once in the past lived a king named Puranjana, who was celebrated for his great activities. He had a friend named Janata, the unknown one. No one could understand the activities of Janata.
King
If there's
Puranjana, what's that?
if there's a better way to be saying that name, let me
Avijanata. I think that's it. That's it.
know. Okay.
King Puranjana began to search for a suitable place to live, and thus he traveled all over the world. Even after a great deal of traveling, he could not find a place just to his liking. Finally, he became morose and disappointed.
King Puranjana had unlimited desires for sense enjoyment. Consequently, he traveled all over the world to find a place where all his desires could be fulfilled. Unfortunately, he found a feeling of insufficiency everywhere.
Once,
Oof.
once while wandering in this way, he saw on the southern side of the Himalayas, in a place named Bharata Varsa, a city that had 9 gates all about and was characterized by all auspicious facilities.
That city was surrounded by walls and parks, and within it were towers, canals, windows, and outlets. The houses there were decorated with domes made of gold, silver, and iron.
The floors of the houses in that city were made of sapphire, crystal, diamonds, pearls, emeralds, and rubies. Because of the luster of the houses in the capital, the city was compared to the celestial town named Bhagavati.
In that city, there were many assembly houses, street crossings, streets, restaurants, gambling houses, markets, resting places, flags, festoons, and beautiful parks. All these surrounded the city.
On the outskirts of that city, there were many beautiful trees and creepers encircling a nice lake. Also surrounding that lake were many groups of birds and bees that were always chanting and humming.
The branches of these trees standing on the bank of the lake received particles of water carried by the spring air from the falls coming down from the icy mountain.
In such an atmosphere, even the animals of the forest became non-violent and non-envious like great sages. Consequently, the animals did not attack anyone. Over and above everything was the cooing of the cuckoos. Any passenger passing along that path was invited by that atmosphere to take rest in that nice
Hmm.
garden.
While wandering here and there in that wonderful garden, King Puranjana suddenly came in contact with a very beautiful woman who was walking there without any engagement. She had set 10 servants with her, and each servant had hundreds of wives accompanying him.
Well, the woman was protected on all sides by a five-hooded snake. She was very beautiful and young, and she appeared very anxious to find a suitable
Mm.
husband.
The woman's nose, teeth, and forehead were all very beautiful. Her ears were equally very beautiful and were bedecked with dazzling earrings.
The waist and hips of the woman were very beautiful. She was dressed in a yellow sari with a golden belt. While she walked, her ankle bells rang. She appeared exactly like a denizen of the heavens.
With the end of her sari, the woman was trying to cover her breasts, which were equally round and well placed side by side. She again and again tried to cover them out of shyness while she walked exactly like a great elephant.
Purañjana, the hero, became attracted by the eyebrows and smiling face of the very beautiful girl, and was immediately pierced by the arrows of her lusty desires. When she smiled shyly, she looked very beautiful to Purañjana, who, although a hero, could not refrain from addressing her.
My dear lotus-eyed, kindly explain to me where you are coming from, who you are, and whose daughter you are. You appear very chaste. What is the purpose of your coming here? What are you trying to do? Please explain all these things to me.
My dear lotus-eyed, who are those 11 strong bodyguards with you, and who are those 10 specific servants? Who are those women following the 10 servants, and who is the snake that is protecting you?
My dear beautiful girl, you are exactly like the goddess of fortune or the wife or Lord of Lord Shiva, or the goddess of learning, the wife of Lord Brahma. Although you must be one of them, I see that you are loitering in this forest. Indeed, you are as silent as the great sages. Is it that you are searching after your own husband? Whoever your husband may be, simply by understanding that you are so faithful to him, he will come to possess all opulences. I think you must be the goddess of fortune, but I do not see the lotus flower in your hand. Therefore, I'm asking you where you have thrown that lotus.
Oh, greatly fortunate one. It appears that you are none of the women I have mentioned because I see that your feet are touching the ground. But if you are some woman of this planet, you can, like the goddess of fortune, who, accompanied by Lord Vishnu, increase the beauty of the Vaikuntha planets, also increase the beauty of this city by associating with me. You should understand that I am a great hero and a very powerful king on this planet.
Mm.
Like, there's a pickup line.
Yeah, yeah, for somebody calls you the goddess of fortune.
Right.
Certainly, your glancing upon me today has very much agitated my mind. Your smile, which is full of shyness, but at the same time lusty, is agitating the most powerful Cupid within me. Therefore, O most beautiful, I ask you to be merciful upon me.
My dear girl, your face is so beautiful with your nice eyebrows and eyes and with your bluish hair scattered about. In addition, very sweet sounds are coming from your mouth. Nonetheless, you are so covered with shyness that you do not see me face to face. I therefore request, my dear girl, to smile and kindly raise your head to see me.
Narada continued, My dear king, when Puranjana became so attracted and impatient to touch the girl and enjoy her, the girl also became attracted by his words and accepted his request by smiling. By this time, she was certainly attracted by the king.
The girl said, O best of the human beings, I do not know who has begotten me. I cannot speak to you perfectly about this, nor do I know the names or the origin of the associates with me. That's weird.
Oh, great. Yeah. You should know who you're with.
That's weird.
Maybe,
Okay.
maybe I'm wrong.
Is that red flag number one?
Oh, great hero, we only know that we are existing in this place. We do not know what will come after. Indeed, we are so foolish that we do not care to understand who has created this beautiful place for our residence.
My dear gentlemen, all these men and women with me are known as my friends, and the snake, who always remains awake, protects this city even during my sleeping hours. So much I know. I do not know anything beyond this.
O killer of the enemy, you have somehow or other come here. This is certainly a great fortune for me. I wish all auspicious things for you. You have a great desire to satisfy your senses, and all my friends and I shall try our best in all respects to fulfill your desires.
My dear Lord, I have just arranged this city of 9 gates for you so that you can have all kinds of sense gratification. You may live here for 100 years, and everything for your sense gratification will be supplied.
Where is this going, I
Yeah,
wonder?
what's up with this? It's this almost is like Pinocchio getting sucked into the one city or whatever. Do you know what I mean? It's like,
Mm-hmm.
hey, everything in here is free. You can eat and drink anything you want in here. Come on in. It's like a
Mm-hmm.
plot. It seems like a plot.
Yeah, it does. Text 38. How can I expect to unite with others who are neither conversant about sex nor capable of knowing how to enjoy life while living or after death? Such foolish persons are like animals because they do not know the process of sense enjoyment in this life or after death. Okay,
The
this is
woman,
interesting.
yeah, the woman continued. In this material world, a householder's life brings all kinds of happiness in religion, economic development, sense gratification, and the begetting of children, sons, and grandsons. After that, one may desire liberation as well as material reputation. The householder can appreciate the results of sacrifices, which enable him to gain promotion to superior planetary systems. All this material happiness is practically unknown to the transcendentalists. They cannot even imagine such happiness. Wow, it's like the argument for materialism here she's making. Very
Yeah.
interesting. Okay, go ahead.
Text 40. The woman continued. According to authorities, the householder life is pleasing not only to oneself, but to all the forefathers, demigods, great sages, saintly persons, and everyone else. A householder's life is thus beneficial.
Oh, my dear hero, who in this world will not accept a husband like you? You are so famous, so magnanimous, so beautiful, and so easily gotten.
O mighty armed, who in this world will not be attracted by your arms, which are just like the bodies of serpents? Actually, you relieve the distress of husbandless women like us by your attractive smile and your aggressive mercy. We think that you are traveling on the surface of the earth just to benefit us only.
The great sage Narada continued, My dear king, those two, the man and the woman, supporting one another through mutual understanding, entered that city and enjoyed life for 100 years. Okay.
Many professional singers used to sing about the glories of King Puranjana and his glorious activities. When it was too hot in the summer, he used to enter a reservoir of water. He would surround himself with many women and enjoy their company.
On the 9 gates in that city, 7 were on the surface and 2 were subterranean. A total of 9 doors were constructed, and these led to different places. All the gates were used by the city's governor.
My dear king, of the 9 doors, 5 led toward the eastern side, 1 led towards the northern side, 1 led towards the southern side, and 2 led toward the western side. I shall try to give the names of these different doors.
The 2 gates named Kadyoda and Avarmuki were situated facing the eastern side, but they were constructed in one place. Though those 2 gates, the king used to go through those 2 gates. The king used to go to the city of Vibrajita,
Vibraj. Mhm.
Vibrajita, accompanied by a friend whose name was Dyuman.
Similarly, in the east, there were 2 sets of gates named Nalini, and these were also constructed in one place. Through these gates, the king, accompanied by a friend named Aviduda, used to go to the city of Saraba.
Right. It's like Nalini and Nalini or something like that. There's like a little.
Yeah,
Okay. The 5th gate, situated on the eastern side, was named Mukya, or the chief. Through this gate, accompanied by his friends named Rasajna and Vipana, he used to visit 2 places named Badudana and Apana.
the southern gate of the city was known as Pitru. And through that gate, King Puranjana used to visit the city named Daksina Pankala, accompanied by his friend Shrutadara.
On the northern side was the gate named Devahu. Through that gate, King Puranjana used to go with his friend Srutadara to the place known as Uttara Panchala.
On the western side was a game named Asuri. Through that gate, the King Puranjana used to go to the city of Gramaka, accompanied by his friend Dermata.
Another gate on the western side was known as Niriti. Puranjana used to go through this gate to the place known as Vaisasa, accompanied by his friend Lubdaka.
Of the many inhabitants of this city, there were 2 persons named Nivak and Pesach. Pesach. Although King Puranjana was the ruler of citizens who possessed eyes, he unfortunately used to associate with these blind men. Accompanied by them, he used to go here and there and perform various activities.
Sometimes he used to go to his private home with one of his chief servants, who was named Visachina. At that time, illusion, satisfaction, and happiness used to be produced from his wife and children.
Mhm.
Interesting. Okay.
Being thus entangled in different types of mental concoction and engaged in fruitive activities, King Puranjana came completely under the control of material intelligence and was thus cheated. Indeed, he used to fulfill all the desires of his wife, the queen.
Who is the woman, I assume?
Right.
When the queen drank liquor, King Puranjana also engaged in drinking. When the queen dined, he used to dine with her, and when she chewed, King Puranjana used to chew along with her. When the queen sang, he also sang. Similarly, when the queen cried, he also cried. And when the queen laughed, he also laughed. When the queen talked loosely, he also talked loosely. And when the queen walked, the king walked behind her. When the queen would stand still, the king would also stand still. And when the queen would lie down in bed, he would also lie down, follow and lie down with her. When the queen sat, he would also sit. And when the queen heard something, he would follow her to hear the same thing. When the queen saw something, the king would also look at it. And when the queen smelled something, the king would follow her to smell the same thing. When the queen touched something, the king would also touch it, and when the dear queen was lamenting, the poor king also had to follow her in lamentation. In the same way, when the queen felt enjoyment, he also enjoyed, and when the queen was satisfied, the king also felt satisfaction. Wow, this is
Mm,
very interesting. So interesting. Okay.
mm.
Okay.
Text 62. In this way, King Purañjana was captivated by his nice wife and was thus cheated. Indeed, he became cheated in his whole existence in the material world. Even against that poor, foolish king's desire, he remained under the control of his wife, just like a pet animal that dances according to the order of its master.
Addicted to the material. Okay, that's the end.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
it. That's the end of that chapter. Wow.
Oh, chapter 26. King Purajana goes to the forest to hunt and his queen becomes angry.
Angry.
Mm.
The great sage Narada continued, My dear king, once upon a time King Puranjana took up his great bow, and equipped with golden armor and a quiver of unlimited arrows, and accompanied by 11 commanders, he sat on his chariot driven by 5 swift horses and went to the forest named Panchaprastha. He took with him that chariot 2 explosive arrows. The chariot itself was situated on 2 wheels and 1 revolving axle. On the chariot were 3 flags, 1 rein, 1 chariot driver, 1 sitting place, 2 poles to which the harness was fixed, 5 weapons, and 7 coverings. The chariot moved in 5 different styles, and 5 obstacles lay before it. All the decorations of the chariot were made of gold.
It was almost impossible for King Purajana to give up the company of his queen even for a moment.
Mm.
Nonetheless, on that day, being very much inspired by the desire to hunt, he took up his bow and arrow with great pride and went to the forest, not caring for his wife.
At that time, King Puranjana was very much influenced by demonic propensities. Because of this, his heart became very hard and merciless, and with sharp arrows he killed many innocent animals in the forest, taking no consideration.
Mm. If a king is too attracted by eating flesh, he may, according to the directions of the revealed scriptures on sacrificial performances, go to the forest and kill some animals that are recommended for killing. One is not allowed to kill animals unnecessarily or without restrictions. The Vedas regulate animal killing to stop the extravagance of foolish men influenced by the modes of passion and ignorance.
Narada Muni continued to speak to King Prachina. My dear king, any person who works according to the directions of the Vedic scriptures does not become involved in fruitive activities.
Hmm.
Mm.
Otherwise, a person who acts whimsically falls down due to false prestige. Thus, he becomes involved in the law of nature, which are composed of the 3 qualities goodness, passion, and ignorance. In this way, a living entity becomes devoid of his real intelligence and becomes perpetually lost in the cycle of birth and death. Thus, he goes up and down from a microbe in stool to a high position in the Brahmaloka planet. Wow.
Wow, that's a description. Holy.
You can
How
be a microbe in stool to having a high position in the Brahmaloka planet.
how many lives does it take to get to that? And how many lives have we spent on Earth just doing fruitive activities? That's it.
Yeah, yeah,
Just that,
yeah.
making money, having pleasures, getting pleasures, being hungry, like all the things, like
Right.
over and over and over and over and over. Okay, text 9. When King Puranjana was hunting in this way, many animals within the forest lost their lives with great pain, being pierced by the sharp arrowheads. Upon seeing these devastating, ghastly activities performed by the king, all the people who were merciful by nature became very unhappy. Such merciful persons could not tolerate seeing all this killing.
In this way, King Puranjana killed many animals, including rabbits, boars, buffalo, bison, black deer, porcupines, and other game animals. After killing and killing, the king became very tired.
After this, the king, very much fatigued, hungry, and thirsty, returned to his royal palace. After returning, he took a bath and had an appropriate dinner. Then he took rest and thus became freed from all restlessness. So he didn't even eat the animals, he just killed them to kill them.
Wow. After this, King Puranjana decorated his body with suitable ornaments. He also smeared scented sandalwood pulp over his body and put on flower garlands. In this way, he became completely refreshed. After this, he began to search out his queen.
After taking his dinner and having his thirst and hunger satisfied, King Puranjana felt some joy within his heart. Instead of being elevated to a higher consciousness, he became captivated by Cupid and was moved by a desire to find his wife, who kept him satisfied in his household life. Okay, going after the next material thing, pleasure.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
At that time, King Puranjana was a little anxious, and he inquired from the household women, "My dear beautiful women, are you and your mistress all very happy like before, or not?"
King Puranjana said, I do not understand why my household paraphernalia does not attract me as before. I think if there is neither a mother nor a devoted wife at home, the home is like a chariot without wheels. Where is the fool who will sit down on such an unworkable chariot?
Mm. Kindly let me know the whereabouts of that beautiful woman who always saves me when I am drowning in the ocean of danger. By giving me good intelligence at every step, she always saves me.
All the women addressed the king. O master of the citizens, we do not know why your dear wife has taken on this sort of existence. O killer of enemies, kindly look. She is lying on the ground without bedding. We cannot understand why she is acting this way.
The great sage Narada continued, "My dear King Prachinabari, as soon as King Purajana saw his queen lying on the ground, appearing like a mendicant, he immediately became bewildered.
The king, with a grieved mind, began to speak with his wife with very pleasing words. Although he was filled with regret and tried to pacify her, he could not see any symptom of anger caused by love within the heart of his beloved wife.
Because the king was very expert in flattery, he began to pacify his queen very slowly. First, he touched her 2 feet, then embraced her nicely, sitting her on his lap, and began to speak as follows.
King Puranjana said, My dear beautiful wife, when a master accepts a servant as his own man but does not punish him for his offenses, the servant must be considered unfortunate.
My dear slender maiden, when a master chastises his servant, the servant should accept this as great mercy. One who becomes angry must be very foolish not to know this, that such is the duty of his friend.
My dear wife, your teeth are very beautifully set, and your attractive features make you appear very thoughtful. Kindly give up your anger, be merciful upon me, and please smile upon me with loving attachment. When I see a smile on your beautiful face, and when I see your hair, which is as beautiful as the color blue, and see your raised nose and hear your sweet talk, you will become more beautiful to me and thus attract me and oblige me. You are my most respected mistress.
Hmm. O hero's wife, kindly tell me if someone has offended you. I am prepared to give such a person punishment as long as he does not belong to the Brahmin caste. But for the servant of Krishna, I excuse no one within or beyond these 3 worlds. No one can freely move after offending you, for I am prepared to punish him.
My dear wife, until this day I have never seen your face without talaka decorations, nor have I seen you so morose and without luster or affection, nor have I seen your two nice breasts wet with tears from your eyes, nor have I ever seen before your lips, which are ordinarily as red as the bimba fruit, without their reddish hue.
My dear wife, due to my sinful desires, I went to the forest to hunt without asking you. Therefore, I must admit that I have offended you. Nonetheless, thinking of me as your most intimate subordinate, you should still be very much pleased with me. Factually, I am very much bereaved, but being pierced by the arrow of Cupid, I am feeling lusty. But where is the beautiful woman who would give up her lusty husband and refuse to unite with him?
That's it. That's the end of that chapter.
Ah,
Wow. Okay.
wow. These chapters
Interesting.
are leaving us kind of on a
Yeah,
cliffhanger.
they are leaving us on a cliffhanger. Um, well, the next chapter, attacked
How long
by
is it?
Can Kandavega on the
Looks
city of
pretty
King
short.
Puranjana, the character of Kalakanya.
It's also pretty short. Should we go? There's only 30 texts.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
All right.
We can't just leave us hanging here.
No.
Okay. I think it's you.
Okay. Chapter 27, attacked by Kunda Vega on the city of King Puranjana. The great sage Narada continued, My dear king, after bewildering her husband in different ways and bringing him under her control, the wife of King Purajana gave him all satisfaction and enjoyed sex life with him.
The queen took her bath and dressed herself nicely with all auspicious garments and ornaments. After taking food and becoming completely satisfied, she returned to the king. Upon seeing her beautifully decorated, attractive face, the king welcomed her with all devotion.
Queen Puranjani embraced the king, and the king also responded by embracing her shoulders. In this way, in a solitary place, they enjoyed joking words. Thus, King Purajana became very much captivated by his beautiful wife and deviated from his good sense. He forgot that the passing of days and nights meant that his span of life was being reduced without
Hmm,
profit.
interesting. In this way, increasingly overwhelmed by illusion, King Puranjana, although advanced in consciousness, remained always lying down with his head in the pillow of his wife's arms. In this way, he considered woman to be his ultimate life and soul. Becoming
Mm,
thus overwhelmed by the mode of ignorance, he could not understand the meaning of self realization, of his self, or the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
how many people are there?
Yeah, like the vast majority of us.
Yeah. My dear King Prachini, Prachina Barisat. In this way, King Purajana, with his heart full of lust and sinful reactions, began to enjoy sex with his wife, and in this way, his new life and youth expired in half a moment.
The great sage Narada then addressed King Prachina Barasat. O one whose lifespan is great. In this way, King Puranjana begot 1,100 sons within the womb of his wife, Puranjani. However, in this business, he passed away half of his lifespan. So half of the
Oh,
time he spent just making children, half of his entire lifetime.
yeah,
I have 7 kids and I've thought about how long I was pregnant and it was like how many years? A good chunk. Not half my
yeah.
lifetime though.
No, right? Oh, Prajapati, King Prachi Prachinabarisat. I don't know why that one's very hard for me. In this way, King Purajana also begot 110 daughters. All of these were equally glorified like the father and mother. Their behavior was gentle and they possessed magnanimity and other good qualities.
Wow, so the queen had 1,200 children. That's
Yeah, quite a
after
few.
this, right, that's a few. After this, King Puranjana, king of the Panchala country, the Panchala country, in order to increase the descendants of his paternal family, married his sons with qualified wives and married his daughters with qualified husbands.
Of these many sons, each produced hundreds and hundreds of grandsons. In this way, the whole city of Panchala became overcrowded by these sons and grandsons of King Purajana.
The sons and grandsons were virtually plunderers of King Puranjana's riches, including his home, treasury, servants, secretaries, and other paraphernalia. Purañjana's attachment for these things was very deep rooted. Yeah, because
Mm,
he came here and was just completely in the material world.
yeah. The great sage Narada continued, My dear King Prachina Barisat, like the like you, King Purajana also became implicated in so many desires. Thus he worshipped demigods, forefathers, and social leaders with various sacrifices, which were all very ghastly because they were inspired by the desire to kill animals.
Thus, King Puranjana, being attracted to fruit activities, as well as kith and kin, and being obsessed with polluted consciousness, eventually arrived at that point not very much liked by those who are overly attached to material things.
Mm. O king, in Gandharva Loka there is a king named Chandavega. Under him there are 360 very powerful Gandharva soldiers.
Along with Chandavega were as many female Gandharvis as there were soldiers, and all of them repetitively plundered all the paraphernalia for sense enjoyment.
Mm. When King Gandharva Raja and his followers began to plunder the city of Puranjana, a snake with 5 hoods began to defend the
The
city.
snake,
Okay.
that's right. The
Yeah.
five-headed serpent, the superintendent and protector of the city of King Puranjana, fought with the Gandharvas for 100 years. He fought alone with all of them, although they numbered 720.
Mm. Because he had to fight alone with so many soldiers, all of whom were great warriors, the serpent with 5 hoods became very weak. Seeing that his most intimate friend was weakening, King Purajana and his friends and citizens living within the city all became very anxious.
King Puranjana collected taxes in the city known as Panchala and thus was able to engage in sexual indulgence. Being completely under the control of women, he could not understand that his life was passing away and that he was reaching the point of death.
Well, my dear King Prachinabarisat, at this time the daughter of at this time the daughter of formidable time was seeking her husband throughout the 3 worlds. Although no one agreed to accept her, she came.
The daughter of time was very unfortunate. Consequently, she was known as Durbaga, the ill-fated. However, she was once pleased with the great king, and because the king accepted her, she granted him a great benediction.
Ah, when I was when I once came to this earth from Brahmaloka, the highest planetary system, the daughter of time, wandering over the universe, met me. Knowing me to be an avowed brahmachari, she became lusty and proposed that I accept her.
The great sage Narada continued. When I refused to accept her request, she became very angry at me and cursed me severely. Because I refused her request, she said that I would not be able to stay in one place for a long time.
Mm. After she was thus disappointed by me, with my permission, she approached the king of Yavanas, whose name was Baya, or Fear, and she accepted him as her husband.
Approaching the king of the Yavanas, Kalakanya addressed him as a great hero, saying, My dear sir, you are the best of the untouchables. I am in love with you, and I want you as my husband. I know that no one is baffled if he makes friends with you.
One who does not give charity according to the customs of injunctions of the scriptures, and one who does not accept charity in that way are considered to be in the mode of ignorance. Such persons follow the path of foolishness. Surely they must lament at the end.
Kalakanya continued, O gentle one, I am now present before you to serve you. Please accept me and thus show me mercy. It is a gentleman's greatest duty to be compassionate upon a person who is distressed.
After hearing the statement of Kanya, daughter of time, the king of the Yanavas began to smile and devise a means for executing his confidential duty on behalf of Providence. He then addressed Kalakanya as follows.
The king of the Yavanas replied, After much consideration, I have arrived at a husband for you. Actually, as far as everyone is concerned, you are inauspicious and mischievous. Since no one likes you, how can anyone accept you as his wife?
This world is a product of fruitive activities. Therefore, you may imperce imperceptibly attack people in general. Helped by my soldiers, you can kill them without opposition.
The king of the Yavanas continued, here is my brother Pravjara. I now accept you as my sister. I shall employ both of you, as well as my dangerous soldiers, to act imperceptibly within this world.
Wow, where is this
I don't know
going?
where this is going. I don't know because chapter 28, Purañjana becomes a woman in the next life. What? No, I love this story because it goes on and on. And this is like we do have to stop because I know you have to go to work, but
Oh,
like
this one looks long.
yeah, I think we do have to
This
stop.
one does look long.
And we'll pick it
Oh
up.
my.
But where like this is so interesting because I was just listening to Swami Sarvapriyananda talk about ah not Yogananda, Vivekananda. Okay, Vivekananda.
Okay.
And he says the story is that Vivekananda was actually was Narada, was like the rebirth of Narada.
Oh wow.
But basically he was just telling this story of like this whole like multiple lives and multiple births and basically how it evolves our soul. So this is so interesting. We're like learning about him when this king, he spends his whole life in the material
Yeah,
and
right.
yeah, I don't know where this is going. He becomes a woman in the next life.
So interesting. I'm excited to continue
I
on.
am too. I am too. I'm too. This lesson is always, as always, so deeply layered.
Yes,
Um, really interesting. It's got my attention. Okay, so I know we have to quit
for
for
sure.
now. But we'll pick this up next week. Thank you so much for listening, dear friends.
Hmm.
Love and light and blessings to you. And yeah, we'll see you next week. Yeah.
Till next time, Hare Krishna.
Okay, Hare Krishna.